Naran Keshav Prabhu to recite this chapter now for us.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Vibhuti Yoga atha dashmo adhyayah. Shri Bhagavan uvacha bhuya eva mahabaho shurne paramam vachaha yatteham priyamannaya vakshyami hit kamaya name vidhu surgannaha prabham na maharishya aham adirhi devanam maharishinam sa sarvasha yo mam ajam anadim cha veti loka maheshwaram asamuda samrityeshu sarva papai parimuchyate buddhi jnanam asamoha shama satyam tamha shama sukham dukham bhavo bhavo bhem chabhyam evacha ahimsa samata tustis tapodanam yasho yasha pavanti bhabhutanam mat eva prathikvidha Maharishya sapt purve chatvaro manvastatha madbhava manasa jata yesham loka imha prajaha etam vibhutim yogam cha mam yo veti tatvataha so vikalpena yogena yujyate natra samshaya aham sarvasya prabho matha sarvam parvartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhavasman vittaha machita madgat prana bodayantha parasparam katyantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha tesham satta yuktanam bhajtam priti purvakam tatami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te tesham ivanukampartham ahamam gyanjam tamha nashyami Atam bhavasto gyan dipena basvata Arjuna vacha param brahma param dham pavitram param bhavan purisham shashvat divyam adi devam ajam vibhum ahus tvam rishya sarve dev rishi nardas tatha asito dev lovyasa swam chaiva varvishi me sarvam etad ritam manya Yanmam vadasi keshava nahite bhagwan vyaktim vidur deva dan vaha syam avatman atmanam vaitha tvam purushottama bhuta bhavam bhutesha deva deva jagatpate vaktum aharasi asheshena divyahi atam vibhutiyah याबे विभूति भी लोकन इमाम स्त्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठसि कथम विद्याम अहम योगिम स्त्वं सदा प्रचिंतयन् केषु केषु च भावेषु चिन्त्योऽसि भगवन् मया विसनात्मनो योगं विभूतिं च जनार्दन भूया कथया तृप्तिर्हि शरणवतो नास्ति मे अमृतम् श्री भगवान उवाच Hantate katha yishyan divyahi atam vibhutayah pradhan yatha kuru shrestha naste anto vistarasya me aham atma gudakesha sarva bhutesya stitaha aham adischa madhyam cha bhutanam ant evacha adhyatyanam aham vishnu jyotisham ravir amushyaman Mirchi maritam asmi nakshatram aham shashi Vedanam samvedosmi devanam asmi vasavaha Indriyanam manaschasmi bhutanam asmi chetana Rudranam shankarashasmi vitesho yaksha rakshasam vasunam pavakaschasmi meru shikharinam aham puro Dasam cha mukhyam mam vidhi bharat baraspatim sena ninam aham skanda sarasam asmi sagaraha maharishinam briguraham giram asmi ekam aksharam yagyanam jap yagyosmi sathavaranam Himalayah Ashvatha Sarva Vrikshanam Devrishinam cha Naradha Gandharvanam Chitranda Siddhanam Kapilomana Munhi Uchihi Sharayas Vasam Ashvanam Vidimam Amritodbhavam Iravatam Kanjedranam Naranam cha Narat Pimam Ayudhanam Aham Vajram Denunam Asmi Kamaduk Prajanaschasmi Kandarpa Sarpanam Asmi Vasukihi Anantaschasmi Naganam Varanu Yadasam Aham Pitranam Aryamachasmi Yam Ha Sami Atam Aham Parlahadaschasmi Detyayanam Kalha Kaliyatam Aham Migranam cha Megendroham Ventayescha Pakshinam Pavatam Asmi Ramha Shastra Britam Aham Jashanam Makaraschasmi Srotasam Asmi Janvi Sarganam Adir Antascha Madhyam Chevaham Arjuna Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam Vidha Parvadatam Aham Aksharanam Ekarosmi Dvanda Samaskasya Cha Aham Avekshas Kalo Dataham Vishvato Mukha Mrityu Sarvaharas Chaham Abhavascha Bhavashyatam Aham Aveksha Kalo Dataham Vishvato Mukha Mrityu Sarvaharas Chaham Udbhavascha Bhavishyatam Kritishuri Vakna Cha Narina Smriti Meta Dritahi Shama Brihit Sama Tatha Samna Gayatri Chandasam Aham Masana Marg Shirshoham Ruta Nam Kusum Akraha Diyutam Chalayatam Asmi Tejas Tejavinam Aham Jayosmi Vya Vasayosmi Sattvam Sattvatam Aham Rishinam Vasudevosmi Pandavanam Dhananjaya Muninamapi Aham Vyasa Kavinam Ushun Kavihi Dando Damyatam Asmi Nitir Asmi Jagishatam Monam Chevasami Guhyanam Jnanam Jnanvatam Aham Yaschapi Sarva Bhutanam Bijam Tad Aham Arjuna Natadasti Vina Yatsyan Mea Bhutam Characharam Nantosti Mam Divyana Vibhutinam Parantapa Esha Tudeshatha Prokto Vibhutir Vistaro Maya Yad Yad Vibhuti Mat Sattvam Shirimad Ujitam Evava Tad Tad Eva Gachitvam Mam Tejo Amsha Sambhavam Athva Bahonatena Kim Gyatena Tavarjuna Vishtabhayam Idam Krishnam Ekam Shena Stithu Jagat Om Tatsaditi Srimad Gita Gita Shupanit Shastu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Vibhuti Yognam Dashmodhyayaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Narayana Keshav. Please give a round of big applause to Narayana Keshav Prabhu for reciting again in Sanskrit. So this chapter is titled The Opulence of the Absolute. So after hearing the chapter 9 and 10, Arjuna was convinced, that all his doubts were dissipated. He is convinced now. And in this chapter he says, Krishna, you are Param Dhamam Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. You are the Supreme. I accept you. And then he says, Krishna, I want to know your opulence, how great you are. We all say, God is great. But Krishna, how great you are. Please tell me your greatness. So Krishna says, how can I say, there is so much I can talk. Well, I'll just tell you something, just fraction of it. So he says, many things he says, we cannot remember all of them. But he says, among the mountain, I am the Himalayas. Among the fish, I am the shark. Among the rivers, I am the Ganges. Then he says, among the secret, I am the silence. So many things he says in that one, that I am this, I am that. Then at the end, Krishna says, Arjuna, this is just the splendor of my spark. I am the beginning, I am the middle, I am the end. Then he says, Aham bija pradapita, everything comes from me. Anything moving and non-moving, everything comes from me. Then he says, this is all great things that you see. Then Krishna just summarizes. He says, anything great you see in this world. We see so many great things. If you just pick up a flower and see how beautiful that flower is created. We see a cloud. The cloud, the water from Africa, it is evaporated, it becomes a cloud, travels thousands of miles and comes to UK. And we have a rain here. We have always have a rain here. But do you know this rain is coming from Africa? And how many liters of water comes? Millions of liters. Yeah. And if you have to go and buy a 1 liter of water at Tesco, how much charges? At least £1 for a liter. Yeah. And Krishna gives millions of liters of water every day, free of charge. And all this water is coming in the cloud. And the plane can go through the cloud, but plane doesn't get wet. Do you see the greatness of Krishna? So Krishna says, whatever greatness you see, it is just nothing but the spark of the splendor, of my splendor. It's like you have a big fire, and from the fire you get a little spark. A big fire and a spark, what is the comparison? Nothing. Krishna says, all the great things, it is nothing but the spark of my splendor. So now this is the chapter that Krishna is describing his opulence. And now we move towards the 11th chapter. And now Arjuna wanted to see Krishna's universal form. Arjuna was very enthusiastic with universal form, but see what happens at the end of seeing the universal form. So now we're going to invite anybody, any volunteer who want to recite in this English. This has got 55 shlokas. You'll do, Chitra? Yeah? English? Yeah. English. Yeah.
No, I just got the...
Hare Krishna. Arjuna said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity and have realized your inexhaustible glories. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position, as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal self. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, see how my opulences, hundreds of thousands of very divine and multicolored forms. O best of the Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras and all the other demigods. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard of before. O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything, moving and non-moving, is here completely in one place. But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. Sanjaya said, O king, having spoken thus, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and bore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared all over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. Arjuna said, "My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and all the sages and divine serpents. O Lord of the universe, O universal form, I see in your body many, many arms, bellies, mouths and eyes expanded everywhere without limit. I see in you no end, no middle and no beginning. Your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence spreading on all sides like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere adorned with various crowns, clubs and discs. You are the supreme primal objective. You are the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are inexhaustible and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of the eternal religion, the personality of Godhead. This is my opinion. You are without origin, middle or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms and the sun and moon are your eyes. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance. Although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O Great One, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed. All the hosts of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them, very much afraid, are offering prayers with folded hands. Hosts of great sages and perfected beings crying, "All peace," are praying to you by singing the Vedic hymns. All the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Vishwadevas, the two Ashvis, the Maruts, the forefathers and the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder. O mighty armed one, all the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs and bellies and your many terrible teeth. And as they are disturbed, so am I. O all-pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouth and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions I am bewildered. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers also, are rushing into your fearful mouth, and some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter blazing into your mouths. I see all people rushing full speed into your mouth as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouth, covering all the universe with your effulgence. You are manifest with terrible scorching rays. O Lord of Lords, O so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. Therefore, get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by arrangement, and you, O Savyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight." Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna and the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight and you will vanquish your enemies in battle. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in a faltering voice as follows. Arjuna said, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. O great one, greater even than Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisances unto you? O limitless one, God of gods, refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything and you are all that is noble. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes. O limitless form, this whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. You are air and you are the supreme controller. You are fire, you are water and you are the moon. You are Brahma, the first living creature, and you are the great grandfather. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times and again and yet again. Obeisances to you from the front, from behind and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all pervading and thus you are everything. Thinking of you as my friend, I have rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in the madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed, or sat or ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all those offenses. You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one is greater than you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds, O Lord of immeasurable power? You are the supreme Lord to be worshipped by every living being. Thus I fall down to offer you my respectful obeisances and ask your mercy. As a father tolerates the impudence of his son, a friend the impertinence of a friend, or a husband the familiarity of his wife, please tolerate the wrongs I may have done you. After seeing this universal form, which I have never seen before, I am gladdened, but at the same time, my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead, O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe. O universal form, O thousand-armed Lord, I wish to see you in your four-armed form, with helmeted head and with club, wheel, conch and lotus flower in your hands. I long to see you in that form. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjuna, happily have I shown you by my internal potency, this supreme universal form within the material world. No one before you has ever seen this primal form, unlimited and full of glaring effulgence. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine, for neither by studying the Vedas, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances can I be seen in this form in the material world. You have been perturbed and bewildered by seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished. My devotee, be free again from all disturbances. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, having spoken thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-armed form and at last showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna. When Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, O Janardana, seeing this human-like form so very beautiful, I am now composed in mind and I am restored to my original nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, this form of mine you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form which is so dear. The form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not seen by these means that one can see me as I am. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysterious of my understandings. My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works on me, who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Have you all seen the universal form now? Yeah. So Arjuna wanted to see the Lord's universal form. He said, "My Lord, can you please show me your universal form?" And Krishna said, "Yes, I can show you, but you won't be able to hold it. You won't be able to, see through your ordinary eyes." So Krishna said, "I'll give you the spatial vision." And Krishna gave the spatial vision to Arjuna. And Arjuna could see the entire universe at one place. And Krishna was there, in the whole universe. That Arjuna could see at one place. And it was a very ghastly form. Arjuna is a warrior, Kshatriya. He has seen many ghastly wars and all. So it is for Arjuna not to see that ghastly form was, really ghastly. So you must have, read so many shlokas, and one of the things that is how ghastly it was. At one place, Arjuna saw that all the people gathered on the war, they are entering into the mouth of Krishna, and they are being crushed between the teeth of Krishna. And what Arjuna saw was that few people, their head was stuck between the teeth. No Hollywood has ever done these special effects. It was very ghastly, and it was very horrible. And Arjuna then said, "My Lord, I cannot bear this form. Please take this form away. I want to see your four-armed form." And then Krishna said, "So be it. What you have seen." He said, "This form, not everybody can see. Only if I reveal, then only you can see." So my dear friend, Krishna is very great. He is greatest of all. All greatness comes from him. If Arjuna cannot behold his universal form, so we have no chance. But then Krishna showed him, the four-arm Narayan form, and then again he showed his two-arm Krishna form. So we are very fortunate. We see here Shri Radha Gokulanand, nicely holding flute. So nice to see, Are we seeing anybody's head stuck in Krishna's teeth? He's nicely smiling. And in the earlier chapter, Krishna, he said, anybody who offers me with love, a leaf, a flower, even a water, I accept it. If you offer me with love. So we do not need to see this universal form. You can simply come to temple, be with the devotees, chant Hare Krishna, offer nice bhoga to Krishna. Then we come together, we just did a nice beautiful prasadam. Give a big round of applause to our Anandi Mataji and team. They have beautifully cooked prasadam today. Thank you so much, Mataji. So we come here, we do not need to see these ghastly forms. We just come here, see Radha Gokulanand. We come in front of Prabhupada, offer flower to him. And life is beautiful. No need to see universal form. So now we are going to this 12th chapter, which is the second third of our sandwich. This is the last chapter of the innermost content of Bhagavad Gita. It's a very important chapter. It is called the devotion service. Now we have our superhero, Sri Niket. He is going to recite. I think he knows this chapter by heart, but he's just going to read it from the book. So now give it to Sri Niket.
He refuses to close the book.
So is going to recite in Sanskrit. So this 12th chapter, devotion service by Sri Niket. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Paramatmane Namaha. Atadvadashodhyayah. Arjuna Vacha. Evam Satata Yuktaye. Bhaktastvam Paripasate. Yecha Praksharam Avyaktam. Tesham Ki Yoga Vittamaha. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Maya Vishamano Yemam. Nityayukta upasate shraddhaya parayopetaha te me yukta tamamataha ye tvaksharam maniddesham avyaktam pariyupasate sarvatra gamachintancha kutastam nachalam tum samyam yendriyagravam sarvatra samabuddhaya te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhutayate rataha klesho vikataras avyakta shakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkam te havadviravapyate ye tu sarvani karmani vaisanyasya matparaha ananyena iva yogena mam tyayanta upasate तेषामहं समर्थर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् पवामि न चिरापर्त मय्या वेशितचेतसां मय्येव मन आदत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अत ऊतं न संशयः अत चित्तं समादातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततः मामिच्छातुं धनञ्जय अभ्यासेभ्य समर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि अथैतदप्य शक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यतात्मवान् श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानात् ज्ञानं विशिष्यते ज्ञानात् कर्मफलत्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम् अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः कल्य एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखः क्षमी सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितर्मनो बुद्धिः यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोकः लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यस्य च मे प्रियः अनपेक्षश्रुतिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यतः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी प्रियो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोषति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान् यः स मे प्रियः समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्ण सुखदुःखेषु समसङ्गविवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतस्थिरमतिः भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धानां मत्परमा भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः ओम तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्म विद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुन संवादे भक्ति योगो नाम द्वादशोऽध्यायः।
Hare Krishna. I didn't have to say give round of big applause to you, but I'll say anyway, give a big round of applause to you. Hare Krishna. So Sri Niket, he's been very nicely raised by Anandi Mataji and good husband Karthik. All their children, two brothers and a sister, they are like, the superstars of Bhagavad Gita. Slowly we're going to hear from Mataji as well. Yeah, say all circle. So this is the 12th chapter, devotional service. Here the Krishna, he is beautiful chapter, very small chapter, 28, just 20 shlokas. But here Krishna, he says, how can you be dear to me? So this last shloka, you can just look at just the translation again. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service means bhakti, and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. It says, making me the supreme goal. In our life, we have so many priorities. Right now, what is my priority? Get a good health, raise my children, or get progress in my job or business. We have so many priorities. If I've done that, what is next? Maybe I want to do this, I want to do that. But here Krishna says, those who make me the supreme goal, if our priority is Krishna, the top priority is always Krishna. The next can be anything else, health, money, whatever. But if your top priority is Krishna, then Krishna, he says, those devotees are very dear to me. And what happens when you become dear to Krishna? We earlier he said, Name Bhaktya Pranashyati, my devotee will never perish. He will carry what we lack and he protects what we have. So this summary of this chapter is that if you want to love Krishna, you want to be dear to Krishna, make Krishna the priority, topmost priority. Generally we have, Krishna somewhere second priority, third priority, fourth priority. Top priority is something else. But Krishna says, make me the top priority. And then you become so dear to me. And when we become dear to Krishna, it is our Acharya says, Krishna becomes the devotee's property. So now we move towards the last third of this chapter. Now this chapter is called the nature, the enjoyer and consciousness. Now all the practical tips Krishna is going to give, how we live in this world. So he's talked about karma yoga, dhyana yoga, and talked about in 6 chapters about bhakti yoga. Now he says, oh Krishna, now all this philosophy is fine, but how we live practically. So he's going to give some nice tips in this next 6 chapters. Any volunteer for, you'll do? Yeah? In English, not Sanskrit. Okay. This is our another superhero. So yeah, do the chapter 13 now, nature, the enjoyer and consciousness.
Hare Krishna. Arjuna said, "O dear Krishna, I wish to know about your Prakriti, Purusa, and the field of the knower of the field, and of the knowledge and the objective of knowledge." The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "This body of son of Kunti is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field." Ocean of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all of the bodies, and to understand this body and its knower, it's called knowledge. That is my opinion. Now please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what is the changes or whence it is produced, who that knower of the field of the activities is, and what his influences are. The knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of activities is described by various stages in various Vedic writings. It is especially presented in the Vedic Vedanta Sutra with all reasoning as to cause and effect. The 5 great elements: false, ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, and the mind, the 5 senses objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggravate, the life symptoms and convictions. All these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interactions. Humility, pride-ness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity. Approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, reunization of the object of the sense, gratification, absence of the false ego, the precipitation of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with the children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and the philosophy search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever they may be is an ignorance. I shall now explain the knowable knowing, which you will taste the eternal Brahma, the spirit beginningless and the subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effects of the material world. Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, heads, feet and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, Supersoul exists, pervading everything. The super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses, he is unattached. Although he is maintainer of all living beings, he transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time he is the master of all modes of material nature. The supreme truth exists outside and inside of all living beings, the moving and the non-moving, because he is a subtle, he is beyond the power of material senses to see or to know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all. Although the super soul appears to be divided among all beings, he is never divided. He is situated as one. Although he is a maintainer of every living eternity, it is to be understood that he devotes and develops all. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge, and he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. Thus the field of activities, the body, knowledge and knowable have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. Material nature and the living eternities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living eternity is the cause of various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. The living eternity is the material nature, thus follow the way of life. Enjoying the three modes of nature, this is due to our association with the material nature. Thus he meets good with good and evil among various species. Yea, in the body there is another transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and the permitter, and who is known as the super soul. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living eternity, and the interaction of modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. Some pursue the super soul within themselves through meditation, others through the cultivation of knowledge, and still others through working without fruitive desires. Again, there are those who, although not conversate in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about Him from others because of their tendency to hear from authorities. They also transcend in the path of birth and death. O Chief of Bharatas, know that whatever you see is in existence, both the moving and the non-moving, is only a combination of field of activities and knower of the field. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the super soul within destructively a body is ever destroyed. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by his mind, thus he approach the transcendental destination. One who can see all the activities that performed by the body which is created material nature, and sees that self does nothing actually sees. When a sensible man sees different identities due to different material bodies and sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception. Those with the vision of eternity can see that imperishable soul with transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature, despite the contact with the material body. O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor entangles. The sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all-pervading. Similarly to the soul situated in Brahman vision, does not mix with the body, though situated in that body. O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all the universe, so does the living eternity of one within the body illuminates the entire body by consciousness. Those who see with the eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body, and can also understand the process of liberation from bondage in material nature, attain to the supreme goal.
Hare Krishna. Let's give a big round of applause to Aham. This chapter is titled The Nature, the Enjoyer and Consciousness. So as he said, this is the the final third of 18 chapters. So this is the bread. So in first bread, Krishna also spoke about the soul and super soul. Here again it is Krishna talking about soul and super soul. But he gives some more extra information now. There is one part where Krishna is talking about what exactly is the knowledge. Generally knowledge means I know this engineering, chemical, medical, this is the knowledge. Krishna doesn't consider that as the great knowledge. He considers humility, pridelessness, and there is one, which probably you all want to discuss or focus more. Krishna says, to perceive the evil of birth, old age, disease and death, that is the knowledge. To understand that birth, old age, disease and death, that is the problem of my life. And if you have the knowledge about the practical knowledge of that problem of the life, that is knowledge. So maybe later on, this chapter has got many, homework. You can go home and they open this chapter again and see what Krishna is saying. Many technical things he is saying. And then again, later on, he talks about the soul and super soul. So many of the topics you might say is repeating, but again, this is the second bread. So bhakti, when we want to do the bhakti, we also need to know how to live in this world practically. So Krishna does not leave us, so okay, just do bhakti and forget everything. He's going to tell us how we can live peacefully, very expertly in this material world. So he's going to give us this, the tips of that particular part of our life. And now we move towards the chapter 14, 3 modes of material nature. Again, this is Krishna spoke a little bit about earlier in the first 6 chapters. This entire world, it is controlled by these 3 gunas. Mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. And this whole chapter is dedicated to these 3 modes of material nature. Any volunteer for this chapter? There are about, how many? 27 shlokas are there in this chapter. Anybody like to read this? Would you do it again? Okay. Anybody? Mataji is giving a chance. Anybody wants to recite? Otherwise she will recite. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's yours. Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Mataji.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead says, "Again, I shall declare you the supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. The total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-given father. Material nature consists of 3 modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, Almighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness, born of ignorance, is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The results of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions one to fruitive actions, and ignorance covering one's knowledge binds one to madness. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance, O son of Bharata. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. O chief of the Bharatas, When there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are manifested. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure higher planets of the great sages. When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities, and when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness, but action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, develop foolishness, madness, and illusion. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Arjuna inquired, O my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior, and how does he transcend the modes of nature? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present, or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal towards the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady, situated equally, well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friends and enemies, and who has renounced all material activities, such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, and is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness.
Thank you very much, Neha Mataji. Once again, big round of applause to Neha Mataji. This very important chapter, the three modes of material nature. I'm going to make it a little bit lighter here now. Anybody watch this movie called Matrix? Everybody watched it, yeah? We'll call Matrix. There's one dialogue there. Where is Matrix? And he said, Matrix is everywhere. Now they took this dialogue from this chapter. Krishna says there are three modes of material nature is everywhere. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. It is everywhere. You cannot get out of this. This whole entire this material creation, it is activated by these three modes of material nature. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. Any activity which is done in this world, it is impelled by these three modes of material nature. So Krishna, he tells Arjuna that you just try to see how these things are activated. When you see that all these things are because of three modes of material nature, you will understand the things as they are. And your duty is to transcend these three modes of material nature. Come out of these modes of material nature. So this is the actually the summary of this chapter. And you can see in this practical, Krishna told, this gives some more details. What is modes of material nature? When we are in the modes of goodness, there's a happiness. There is nice knowledge develops. When there's a mode of passion, then we have become very greedy. And under the ignorance, we become illusioned, madness. And these three things you can see in a one day. This says that a day is divided into three sections. The morning is mode of goodness. When you get up in the morning, you like to do some chanting, do some nice things. Everything nice things happens in the morning, Brahma Muhurat. Then afternoon is mode of passion, where the greed takes place. So if you see all over the world, all the big business, stock exchange, they don't open in the morning. They open in the afternoon. That's where the greed, desires that take place. In the night time, it is madness, ignorance. That's where all the intoxication, all these obnoxious things that happened in the night. And these things happen in the particular time only. When you want to do nice chanting in the evening, it's very difficult. But if you give the proper time at particular activity, it becomes very easy. So these are the three modes of material nature, very nicely explained. Now we go to the 5th chapter now. This chapter is titled The Yoga of the Supreme Person. It has got 20 shlokas, and I'd like to invite now Ananya, who is going to recite this beautiful shloka. She was our superstar last year, and we are waiting for her to again, and she appeared. Thank you, Ananya. So let's hear from Ananya, chapter 15.
ओम श्री परमात्मने नमः। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता अथ पंचदशोऽध्यायः। श्री भगवानुवाच ऊर्ध्वमूलमधःशाखम् अश्वत्थं प्राहुरव्ययं छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित् अधश्चोर्ध्वं प्रसृतास्तस्य शाखा गुणः प्रवृद्धा विषयप्रवाला अधश्च मूलान्यनुसन्ततानि कर्मानुबन्धीनि मनुष्यलोके न रूपमस्येथ तथोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च सम्प्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थमेनं सुविरूढमूलम् असङ्गशस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा ततः पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यै यस्मिन् गता न निवर्तन्ति भूयः तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यतः प्रवृत्तिः प्रसृता पुराणे निर्माणमोहाजितसङ्गदोषा अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामाः द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ताः सुखदुःखसञ्ज्ञैर्गच्छन्त्यमूढाः पदमव्ययं तत् न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूतः सनातनः मनश्चेष्टानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति शरीरे यदवाप्नोति यच्चाप्युत्क्रामतीश्वरः गृहीत्वैतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धानि वाशयात् श्रोत्रै चक्षुस्पर्शनेन च रसनं घ्राणमेव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयानुपसेवते उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भूयानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्त्यात्मन्यवस्थितं यतन्तोऽप्यकृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्त चेतसः यदादित्यगतं तेजो जगद्भासयतेऽखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्छाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम् कामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयाम्यहमोजसा पुष्णामि चौषधी सर्वास् सोमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधं सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तस्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहने च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहम् द्वाविमौ पुरुषौ लोके क्षरश्चाक्षर एव च क्षरः सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थोऽक्षर उच्यते उत्तमः पुरुषस्त्वन्यः परमात्मेत्युदाहृतः यो लोकत्रयमाविश्य बिभर्तव्य ईश्वरः यस्माक्षरमतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमः अतोऽस्मि लोके वेदे च प्रकृतिः पुरुषोत्तमः यो मामेव स सम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमं स सर्वविद् भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदमुक्तं मया नघ एतद् भूत्वा बुद्धिमान् स्यात् कृतकृतस्य भारत ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे पुरुषोत्तमयोगो नाम पञ्चदशोऽध्यायः। ॐ श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Ananya. Again, the most number of claps without even asking. So one more again, for Ananya. So this is the 15th chapter, the Yoga of the Supreme. Again, in this chapter, how we go back home, back to Godhead. Those tips are given, and Krishna describes. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So Krishna, gives many important information here. The first information he gives is that there is a spiritual world, there is a material world, and material world is a reflection of spiritual world. And he gives the analogy of a tree and the bank of the tree. So in the bank of the tree in the reflection, it has got the branches going down and roots going up. You get that? This upside down reflection. River, yes, on the river. So this world, it is the reflection of the spiritual world. Yet everything is upside down. But actually the real original thing, it is in spiritual world. And then it's na tad bhashayate surya na shashanko na pavaka yad gatva na nivartate tad dham paramam mama. Then Krishna gives another shloka that one should try to go to that spiritual world. And once you go there, you never come back again. Yad gatva na nivartante tad dham paramam mama. Once you go there, you never come back again here. So this is what Krishna is telling in this chapter. Let's go back home, back to Godhead. And now we are coming to the last concluding chapters of Bhagavad Gita. This chapter 16, it is titled The Divine and Demoniac Natures. Do we all see divine and demoniac natures in this world? It's practically everywhere you see somebody is divine, somebody is demoniac. Now Krishna tells here, what is this, divine and demoniac nature? So, 17th chapter and 18th chapter is already taken by. This is the last chapter. Anybody wants to volunteer for? You want to do it better? Wonderful. Yeah. Mataji, give him a microphone. Yeah. Give her a microphone. Yeah. So this has got 24 shlokas.
The English one.
English, yeah?
English, yes, of course, English, yes.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy, and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, O son of Prita. The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demoniac qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with the divine qualities. O son of Pritha, in this world there are two kinds of created beings. One is called divine and the other demoniac. I have already explained to you at the length of the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demoniac. Those who are demoniac do not know what is it to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. They say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Following such conclusions, the demoniac, who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence, engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Taking shelter in insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and the false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of their life, their anxiety is immeasurable, bound by a network of hundreds of thousands of desires, and absorbed in lust and anger. They secure money by illegal means of forced sense gratification. The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future, more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices, I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. Thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. Self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in the name only, without following any rules or regulations. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demoniac life. O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually they sink down into the most abominable type of existence. There are 3 gates leading to this: hell, lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. The man who has escaped these 3 gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated.
Hare Krishna. Just give her a big round of applause. And I'm always confused between the sisters. What is your name? Mariana. Okay, give a big round of applause to Mariana. One name is Milena, one name is Mariana, and I still do not know who is who. They are twins. So thank you very much, Beta. So in this chapter, Krishna is talking about divine and demoniac nature. So in first few shlokas, Krishna talks about the divine qualities, and then he talks about in detail, demoniac nature. And in demoniac nature, Krishna says there are 3 gates to the hell: lust, anger, and greed. And these demoniac people, they glide down to the hell through these 3 gates. And Krishna says one should be cautious of not to cultivate these 3 qualities: lust, anger, and greed. And there he gives quite in detail. He gives one description. What does the demoniac people think? I have accumulated so much, and with my plan, I'm going to accumulate so much more. He is my enemy, I will conquer them. He is my friend, I will exploit him. This is what the demoniac people thinks. This is not new. What Krishna is not saying something new. We have always experienced this is what is happening around the world. So this is what Krishna is describing in this chapter. Now we come to the 17th chapter. Now I'll invite Srinidhi to recite this 17th chapter. This chapter is titled The Divisions of Faith. It's a very wonderful chapter. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Paramatmane Namaha. Arjuna Uvacha. Ye Shastra Vidhimutsujya Yajante Shraddhayanvitaha Tesham Nishtatu Ka Krishna Sattvamaho Rajastamaha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Trividha Bhavati Shraddha Dehinam Sa Svabhavaja Satviki Rajasi Chaiva Tamasi Cheti Tam Shrunu Sattvanurupa Sarvasya Shraddha Bhavati Bharata Shraddha Mayoyam Purushaha Yo Yachadasa Eva Saha Yajante Satvika Devan Yaksharaksham Rajasaha Pretan Bhutaganaamschanye Yajante Tamasa Janaha Ashastra Vihitam Ghoram Tapyante Ye Tapojanaha Dambhahankara Samyuktaha Kamaraga Balanvitaha Karshayantah Sharirastham Bhutagramamacetasaha Mam Chaivantah Sharirastham Tan Vidhyasura Nishchayan Aharastvapi Sarvasya Trividho Bhavati Priyaha Yajnastapastatha Danam Tesham Bhedamimam Shrunu Ayus Sattva Balarogya Sukha Priti Vivardhanaha Rasya Snigdha Stira Hridya Ahara Satvika Priyaha Katvam Lalavanatyushna Tikshna Ruksha Vidahinaha Ahara Rajasasyeshta Dukha Shoka Maya Pradaha यातयामं गतरसं पूतिपर्युषितं च यत् उच्छिष्टमपि चामेध्यं भोजनं तामसप्रियम् अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्यज्ञः विधिदृष्टो य युज्यते यष्टव्यमेवेति मनः समाधाय स सात्विकः अभिसन्धाय तु फलं दम्भार्थमपि चैव यत् युज्यते भरतश्रेष्ठ तं यज्ञं विद्धि राजसं विधिहीनमसृष्टान्नं मन्त्रहीनमदक्षिणं श्रद्धाविरहितं यज्ञं तामसं परिचक्षते देवद्विजगुरुप्राज्ञ पूजनं शौचमार्जवं ब्रह्मचर्यमहिंसा च शारीरं तप उच्यते अनुद्वेगकरं वाक्यं सत्यं प्रियहितं च यत् स्वाध्यायाभ्यसनं चैव वाङ्मयं तप उच्यते मनः प्रसादः सौम्यत्वं मौनमात्मविनिग्रहः भावसंशुद्धिरित्येतत् तपोमानसमुच्यते श्रद्धया परया तप्तं तपस्तत्त्रिविधं नरैः अफलाकाङ्क्षिभिर्युक्तैः सात्विकं परिचक्षते सत्कारमानपूजार्थं तपोदम्भेन चैव यत् क्रियते तदिह प्रोक्तं राजसं चलमध्रुवं मूढग्राहेणात्मनः यत्पीडया क्रियते तपः परस्योत्सादनार्थं वा तत्तामसमुदाहृतं दातव्यमिति यद्दानं दीयतेनुपकारिणे देशे काले च पात्रे च तद्दानं सात्विकं स्मृतं यत्तु प्रत्युपकारार्थं फलमुद्दिश्य वा पुनः दीयते च परिक्लिष्टं तद्दानं राजसंस्मृतम् अदेशकाले यद्दानम् अपात्रेभ्यश्च दीयते असकृतमवज्ञातं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम् ॐ तत्सदिति निर्देशः ब्रह्मणस्त्रिविधः स्मृतः ब्राह्मणास्तेन वेदाश्च यज्ञाश्च विहिताः पुरा तस्मादोमित्युदाहृत्य यज्ञदानरपक्रियाः प्रवर्तन्ते विधानोक्ताः सततं ब्रह्मवादिनां तदित्यनभिसन्धाय फलं यज्ञतपक्रियाः दानक्रियाश्च विविधाः क्रियन्ते मोक्षकाङ्क्षिभिः सद्भावे साधुभावे च सदित्येतत् प्रयुज्यते प्रशस्ते कर्मणि तथा सच्चब्दः पार्थयुज्यते यज्ञे तपसि दाने च स्थितिः सदिति चोच्यते कर्म चैव तदर्थीयं सदित्येवाभिधीयते अश्रद्धयाहुतं दत्तं तपस्तप्तं कृतं च यत् असदित्युच्यते पार्थ न च तत्प्रेत्य नो इह ॐ तत्सत् इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे श्रद्धात्रय विभागयोगो नाम सप्तदशोऽध्यायः.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Shani. Thank you so much. This chapter again, divisions of faith. You might want to refer this chapter again when you go back home. Here Krishna is describing various things in various modes of nature. The charity, what kind of different charities are there, what kind of different foods are there, what kind of different worships are there. So sometimes we think charity is charity, food is food. No, there are divisions. Charity given for the brahmanas, this mode of goodness. Charity given out of pride that I'll get something in return, maybe I'll get some punya. That is charity in passion. And charity given at improper place, charity given to unworthy person, that is charity in ignorance. So Krishna gives practical example, how we should do various activities in our life. So you might want to refer this chapter again when you go back home. And now we come to the last chapter, the conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. How we can detach ourselves from this world. And that is the perfection of our life. This is the longest chapter, 78 shlokas, longest of all the chapters. Now I invite Priyarani to do this in English. And some important shlokas are there. Please listen it very carefully. Krishna's final instructions are there. And at the end, Sanjaya says something glorious about Bhagavad Gita. So listen that also very carefully. Hare Krishna.
Chapter 18, Conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. Arjuna said, O mighty armed one, I wish to understand the purpose of renunciation, tyag, and of the renounced order of life, sannyas, O killer of the Keshi demon, master of the senses. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what great learned men call the renounced order of life, sannyas. And giving up the results of all activities is what the wise call renunciation, tyag. Some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up as faulty, yet other sages maintain that acts of sacrifice, charity and penance should never be abandoned. O best of the Bharatas, now hear my judgment about renunciation. O tiger among men, renunciation is declared in the scriptures to be of three kinds. Acts of sacrifice, charity and penance are not to be given up. They must be performed. Indeed, sacrifice, charity and penance purify even the great souls. All these activities should be performed without attachment or any expectation of result. They should be performed as a matter of duty, O son of Pritha. That is my final opinion. Prescribed duties should never be renounced. If one gives up his prescribed duties because of illusion, such renunciation is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Anyone who gives up prescribed duties as troublesome or out of fear of bodily discomfort is said to have renounced in the mode of passion. Such action never leads to the elevation of renunciation. O Arjuna, when one performs his prescribed duty only because it ought to be done and renounces all material association and all attachment to the fruit, his renunciation is said to be in the mode of goodness. The intelligent renouncer, situated in the mode of goodness, neither hateful of inauspicious work or attached to auspicious work, has no doubts about work. It is indeed impossible for an embodied being to give up all activities, but he who renounces the fruits of action is called one who has truly renounced. For one who is not renounced, the threefold fruits of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrue after death. But those who are in the renounced order of life have no such result to suffer or enjoy. O mighty armed Arjuna, according to the Vedanta, there are 5 causes for the accomplishment of all action. Now learn of these from me. The place of action, the body, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately the supersoul, these are the 5 factors of action. Whatever right or wrong action a man performs by body, mind, or speech is caused by these 5 factors. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things as they are. One who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled, though he kills men in this world, does not kill, nor is he bound by his actions. Knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower are the 3 factors that motivate action. The senses, the work, and the doer are the 3 constituents of action. According to the 3 different modes of material nature, there are 3 kinds of knowledge, action, and performer of action. Now hear of them from me. That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities, though they are divided into innumerable forms, you should understand to be in the mode of goodness. That knowledge by which one sees that in every different body there is a different type of living entity, you should understand to be in the mode of passion. And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of darkness. That action which is regulated and which is performed without attachment, without love or hatred, and without desire for fruitive results is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires and enacted from a sense of false ego is called action in the mode of passion. That action performed in illusion, in disregard of scriptural injunctions, and without concern for future bondage or for violence or distress caused to others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. One who performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without wavering in success or failure, is said to be a worker in the mode of goodness. The worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, desiring to enjoy those fruits, and who is greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion. The worker who is always engaged in work against the injunctions of the scriptures, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, and who is lazy, always morose, and procrastinating, is said to be a worker in the mode of ignorance. O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination according to the three modes of material nature. O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness. O son of Pritha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion. That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion under the spell of illusion and darkness and strives always in the wrong direction, O Partha, is in the mode of ignorance. O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses, is determination in the mode of goodness. But that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna. And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such unintelligent determination, O son of Pritha, is in the mode of darkness. O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys, and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress. That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects and which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end, is said to be of the nature of passion. And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance. There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own natures in accordance with the material modes, O chastiser of the enemy. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Farming, cow protection, and business are the natural work for the Vaishyas, and for the Shudras there are labor and service to others. By following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done. By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all-pervading, a man can attain perfection through performing his own work. It is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault. One who is self-controlled and unattached and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain, by practice of renunciation, the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize. Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance, and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship, and peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me, by such devotion he can enter into the kingdom of God. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. If you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. If you do not act according to my direction and do not fight, then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction, but compelled by the work born of your own nature, you will act all the same, O son of Kunti. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities, who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. O scion of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. By His grace, you will attain transcendental peace and the supreme and eternal abode. Thus, I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do. Because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. And one who listens with faith and without envy becomes free from sinful reactions and attains to the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. O son of Pritha, O conqueror of wealth, have you heard this with an attentive mind? And are your ignorance and illusions now dispelled? Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt and am prepared to act according to your instructions. Sanjaya said, Thus have I heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. By the mercy of Vyas, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mysticism, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. O King, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. O King, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. Shri Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Give a round of applause to all of us. We now concluded. This is our second Bhagavad Gita recitation at our ISKCON Stoke temple. Last year we did it at 31st December, the last day of the year. And this year we are doing it just a few days after Gita Jayanti. Did you all enjoy today? Yeah, we are very, very fortunate, that we have, recited the whole Bhagavad Gita start to end. And I am very grateful to all of you, gave your precious time. And many of us, recited so wonderfully, children and grown-ups, both of them. This last chapter, the perfection of renunciation, Krishna is again summarizing the whole Bhagavad Gita. At one place, Krishna says, those who are hearing this conversation between you and me, they are worshipping me through their intelligence. So today we have worshipped Krishna through our intelligence. So just by reading Bhagavad Gita at our house, it is worship of Krishna. We have Krishna's Murti form, deity form. We can worship Krishna with flowers and so many other ingredients. But we can also worship Krishna through our intelligence, and that is by reading Bhagavad Gita. So again, this chapter has got many wonderful gems in it. One place Krishna says, there are various divisions of activities. There are mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. At one place he says, even the happiness can be in mode of goodness, passion and in ignorance. The happiness which tastes bitter but is very sweet at the end, that is in happiness in goodness. And happiness which tastes sweet at the beginning, but happiness which is bitter at the end, it is mode of passion. And happiness which is bitter in the beginning and is bitter at the end, it is happiness in ignorance. Anybody can give example of happiness in ignorance? Alcohol consumption. Beginning and middle, it is just illusion, just misery. Then there are other happiness in passion, which things so nice in the beginning, but the end it is all misery. But the happiness in mode of goodness is difficult in the beginning, but the end that is all just pleasure. For us, giving your 4 hours of your time, at your house, completing few other things, it's difficult. But then you come here, but then you hear Bhagavad Gita here. It's difficult in the beginning, but it ends in the sweet happiness. This is happiness in mode of goodness. So once again, I'll thank you all very much for your very precious time for Bhagavad Gita. Anybody any suggestion for the next year? Okay, this is our desire. Next year, we want to do 2 Bhagavad Gita Jayantis. One is in English, one is in Sanskrit. You all want to do it? Yeah? So we can do one in Sanskrit. That time we can have nice fire sacrifice. We'll have our own priest and we can do swaha, swaha after every shloka. Then other day, we just sit down and recite in English, start to end. Do you think it's a good idea? Yeah? You'll all give your cooperation? Yeah? So start learning Sanskrit shloka today only. Otherwise our children have to do it, all of them. Yeah? So thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. So oh yes, this Thursday, very important announcement. Thursday, His Holiness Swayam Bhagwan Keshav Swami Maharaj will be in the temple. Many of you have met him before. He is one of wonderful sannyasi. And I request all of you, whatever you are doing, leave that day, and come 7 o'clock at the temple. You will not regret. He'll be giving us about 1.5 to 2 hours. He'll speak, we can ask some questions, and just spend some nice, good quality time with Keshav Swami Maharaj. He's very busy, but still he's giving his precious time to Stoke, special and exclusively for us. So please come on that day. Earlier we thought we'll just do meeting in just for few devotees, but many of the devotees wanted to meet him, so we made it a public event. So please come on Thursday, 7 o'clock, 19th of December. Please do come. We'll have a prasadam also at the end, but we'll start sharp at 7 o'clock. Otherwise, we won't have enough time with the Maharaj. So once again, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.